The only reason a lot of people feel sad when they're single is because they don't have human connection. That's what I did. I went to like an isolation mode where I was like, I'm going to achieve all the goals I want because then I'll be happy if I achieve this and this. But then I realized I was like achieving goals and I'm like, why am I sad? And I was like, because I had no one to share them with.
Hello, my billion-dollar baby. I am Tara Electra, and today I am so excited to share with you how to actually be happy single. That's a huge one, right? There's so many people that are dying to be in relationships or feel like being single is a bad thing. Well, I am here to show you that being single and being happy single is exactly how you will find your dream relationship. So listen close. Today I'm going to have on my sister, Natasha. The only reason you want a partner in your life is because you're feeling unhappy with the way your life is now and you want them to bring you happiness, which is never fair to your future partner. Because I promise having a partner does not make you happy. And there's so many people that are in relationships that are still not happy. So you are so good at being happy single, and I love having you on for this topic because I think there's so many people out there that feel like they have to be in a relationship in order to be happy. And so how do you really go about getting yourself to a place where being single is something that can actually be fun for you?
I feel like there's a lot of tips and like tricks that I have done because I always take my life as like, I'm like, it's like a game to me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play with certain things and tools that I've learned because I'm very into personal growth and then implement it into my life and just see what like works and sticks for me. But I have tried everything, so I can give you a lot of ideas on that. But definitely one of my favorite ones is every morning I do some type of like self-love meditation because the only reason you're wanting a partner so bad a lot of the times is because it's coming from like a lack of happiness within yourself. Like you're not feeling whole and complete with yourself, because if you're feeling whole and complete, you wouldn't need a partner so bad if it's coming from a desperate energy. So I like to just feel very whole and complete with myself. So every day I do like some type of self-love meditation, or you can do a self-love hypnosis. There's like guided ones for each. And it's really cool because you're brainwashing yourself to think differently. Because the only reason we're thinking this way is because society puts so much pressure on women. Like they're like, every movie too is like, oh, you're single, you're at the singles table, like at weddings.
That's
and they
so
make
true.
it seem so horrible being single. And you're like, maybe it's a good thing being single. So I think it's like reframing the mindset. Like being single is a good thing. You actually get to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say also being single can mean you don't. Also, being single can mean you don't settle. Like you don't
Exactly.
have to settle for less because you're like, no, I'm actually not gonna settle. I could have dated someone, but I love myself too much to settle for a relationship that I don't feel like is up to my standards right now. So it's actually also like a very like powerful energy.
Yeah, I agree. That's why like I would sometimes go on dates with people and that was the question I hated the most when guys were like, so why are you single? And I'm like, because I'm picky. I want the person that I end up with to be not only good enough like for me because I'm committing my whole life to you, but you need to have qualities that are good for my future kids.
But okay, so that's a good point. Being picky, is that okay to be picky when you're looking for relationships? Because I think a lot of people would get annoyed by that, like, oh, you're too picky and that's why you're single.
I think there's also like there's picky where there's people that are doing it out of protection because they're like, hurry, just find something wrong with them. And like, you're trying to look for like the red flags because you're trying to protect yourself from like future hurt. There's that picky where that people take it too far.
I want you to go into that at some point.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
I can go
let's go into that. Because I think that's a good one. I see a lot of people that way.
Well, I was a...
You're like, well, I was that way.
I was a past picky person.
She's a recovering picky person.
I definitely had a guard up, and the more like spirituality work that I've done, I found out that it came from past rejections when I was like younger, and that I never like dealt with or like fully like cried through or whatever I needed to do to like release it. So like if you've been hurt before in the past, you may have a little bit of a guard up or a wall. So I had to do some work and release those. You can release them through different meditations or therapy, whatever you need to do. But yes, I definitely was very picky. I would try to find things wrong with people, and then I would be like, okay, like I would go on dates and be like, okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That could hurt me in the future. And it was like, I didn't notice that because my excuses felt so valid to me. And when I would tell my friends after, they would agree with me and they'd be like, yeah, that's a good reason to not talk to them. But I was like, I was just like talking it up a little bit too much. Like I was like, yeah. So I saw it was a protection thing.
And one funny story that happened a little bit ago was one of our guy friends called me and they're like, oh my God, I went to this dinner and it was so funny. The funniest thing happened. I'm like, what? He's like, so it's like a table full of guys and there's only like, 2-3 girls there. And one of them was like, ew, that's my ick. And like, he's like, what? And then he's like, yeah, my ick is like people that like hold their fork like that. It was something stupid. And then he's like, what? And then she's like, yeah, and I have a bunch of other ones. And she like pulled out her phone and she had like this laundry list of all her icks towards guys. And the guys at the table were like, wait, some of these like I have, and then some of these contradict themselves. Like there were just like so many that it was like crazy. And then they were all like they were all laughing. They were just being funny about it. The guys, they were like, okay, girl, like whatever. And then I kind of like laughed about it. And then when I told you about it, the way you looked at it was so different. I was like,
so
wow.
bad for her.
Yeah.
She's hurting. I'm like,
so
she's
so you told me, you were like, that's a protective like mechanism to, you basically are trying to find things wrong with someone so that you could protect your own heart. And when you told me that, I was like, made me feel sad for her. And I didn't look at it that way. So that was cool that you saw that.
Yeah. I always like whenever somebody's throwing some negativity at you, it's usually coming from hurt. So that's where I like dissect it a little bit more. And I've gone through it, so I know. But there are people that they have their list of like what they need in a guy, and you can go a little too far. So for me, I pick my like 3 to 5 like must-haves in someone, and then I can like grade it off that. Because anything more than that, it's like no one's gonna be completely perfect. And like you have to like give people time to like get to know them and actually like have an open heart to them, because that was what was hard for me. So that's why I liked those meditations. I was doing open heart meditation because I realized I was like too guarded, and then that helped me at least like get to know people past first dates. I was like only going on first dates. I was like,
yeah, and you always told me, you're like, she's like, what do you mean you could get to like you get to know someone and you can slowly start to like them? I'm like, what do you mean that you can't? And so we were both like complete opposites. Like there's so many people I dated that I wasn't necessarily like, oh my God, about them at first. But then I like slowly got to know them, and then I became like, super excited about them.
And I always thought that was so weird. I was like, what do you mean I was like, oh, she's just settling. And then I like didn't know you could actually grow to love someone like that. I was like, you don't have just like that fiery like excitement like first date. Like I don't know what I was like fantasizing. But then I would date those people that I was like, oh, I just have the passion right away. And it's not always like what I wanted. It was like, that's usually sometimes coming from a trauma wound.
So I think going back to like how to be happy single, or why it's important to be okay single, is really unwinding like what are all these love pains and where are you feeling the need to date someone and where is that all coming from? And once you start to unwind these things and you could start to like allow yourself to be with yourself and take the time for yourself and grow and see through all these parts of yourself, that's only when you can truly find someone that's at the level that is healed where you are. Because if you're coming from a place of lack and you have all these negative things, you're only attracting people that are feeding those wounds, right? And there's so many people, like you said, that are in relationships but they're not happy. And so is that better, just so you could be in this negative spot and you haven't healed and you're like, now going with someone else that hasn't healed, because the only way they would love you is if they're also not healed because you're not healed, And so now you're in this unhealed relationship just because you don't want to be single. And it is scary to be single though.
I did both.
When you're what's it called? It's scared to be single when you're not reliant on someone, but you're codependent. I felt
Yeah.
that energy.
Yeah, you're like, I've been codependent. I have too. Remember when I would like go from relationship to relationship? I wouldn't like leave one until I had a steady other one. I was like, Jesus, like when I was little. Not anytime soon, exes. But yeah, I was like, Jesus. So I've been both where I was very codependent and then I got a little too comfy single. So now I'm like getting in that balance of like, I finally am in a balance where I'm like, ooh, I'm open to people. But I know both sides of things, which is, yeah, I feel you girls.
Yeah. So I think that's where, so let's start with, where does someone begin when they first want to be like, let's talk about different types of people. Let's talk about someone that's in a codependent relationship. They feel stuck. They're not exactly fully happy with the relationship, but they feel like it's better than being alone. What do you think are the reasons that it's so scary to be alone when you're in a codependent relationship?
The reason it's scary is because you literally use them for everything. You're like relying on them for like friendship, someone to talk to every day, someone to laugh with, someone to like do activities with, like share your like what's been going on in your life with. You depend on them for everything, and also that's really bad for a relationship because someone can't be your everything. Like that's what friends are for. You go to different friends for different things. Like I have friends who I'm like, those are my going out friends, those are my friends that like we'd have those deep dive like conversations with, and like yeah, so you have different friends for everything, and then using just one person for all of that, that's when it gets toxic. So that's where when I was codependent, I started learning like, oh, when I make other friends, I don't need him as much. I don't like feel like I'm like, what are you doing without me this weekend? Like, it's like,
You're like, actually, I do find it to be fun to go hang out with my friends, and you can too.
You can too. So creating those deeper bonds with like friends and family and actually feeling like you have a community is like the first step to like getting out of that like toxic codependent
Relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's the feeling of not having anyone in your life anymore because you're like, they're your everything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah, that helped me a lot. I remember the happiest I've ever been in my life single. I had a huge community of friends. I was like, I have this person to hang out this way. I was like, to the point of where I was just like, I forgot I was
feeling.
single. I
used to have that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because when life was easier and all you cared
you could
about.
make friends easy.
And also all you cared about was what you're doing this weekend. And
Yeah.
everyone else did too. So you were all on the same page.
Yeah.
And then it was like way more fun to be single.
Yeah.
That was when you were always in a relationship and I was always single. And I was like, what are you doing? It's so fun over here. And you're like, no, I need to be in a relationship.
It's cool. I'm cooking.
And
I'm
I
a
was just
housewife.
like, had so many friends. Oh, I miss that me. That was fun.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's when you get very comfortable being single. That's the energy that you're giving out, because you feel the only reason a lot of people feel sad when they're single is because they don't have, they're not getting that human connection. So like, that's what I did. I went to like an isolation mode where I was like, I'm going to achieve all the goals I want because then I'll be happy if I achieve this and this. So I was achieving all these goals by being isolated and going into grind time and like being alone. But then I realized I was like achieving goals and I'm like, why am I sad? And I was like, because I had no one to share them with. I had no friends. I had no guy. I was just like isolating. And that makes you really want a boyfriend because you're like, I need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh no, making friends like help that out a lot. And like I realized relationships are the most important thing in life. The most. It doesn't matter what you achieve, what you're doing, like your relationships with friends, family, everybody, it's like that fulfills you, because no matter what I achieved, I was like, I have no one to talk to about it.
That's so true. Now you're making me feel like I need to go make so many more friends.
You do.
I know.
I'm doing it for us. That's what's nice about having a sister.
You're like, I'll make us some new friends. Don't worry.
I got you.
No, because for me, I feel like I'm working all the time. So like adding another step to my life of being like, oh, now you need to go invest in some friends. I'm like, I have friends, but like close relationships where I can talk about life with.
Yeah.
It's hard to find friends where you could be super close with and share things with and trust. And so, yeah, that's so true. Okay, so what about someone that feels like they've been single for a long time and they're over it and they feel like they've went on dates and they've tried things, and then every time they really like a guy, the guy's like an asshole and doesn't like them back? Like, what about someone that's in that energy? Like
an energy of just like, they're almost like just fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I've definitely gone through all different types where there was times when I felt like I wasn't being like liked back or things like that. And then that all comes from like the self-work that you're doing on yourself. Like, are you doing the things that actually make you a happy person and giving out a good energy? Because I would ask that person, are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you doing all the like getting sun every day? Are you doing the things that just mentally make you happy first? And then doing the other work where it's
like, are you enjoying your life?
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have more fun?
Yeah. That was a huge thing that was a huge realization. It was so cool because I was talking to, she's like a energy worker, and she was asking me, I would always say like, I don't know, my things that guys have to have, like he has to have this quality, and this. And she's like, and I was like, I don't know, every guy I meet, they just have this one big thing missing. She's like, what's your one big thing missing? And I was like, I'm perfect. What do you mean? And I was like, I guess I don't always try to have fun all the time. Like I was like very in work mode, and I wasn't like going out and having fun. And I was like, okay, that's the one thing that I realized, oh. And it was funny because I was like, Tash, all you have to do is have fun. Ugh. And I was like, come on, Tash, like just make plans with people, plan events or plan parties with your friends. Like it does take a little bit of effort because you have to like actually make future plans.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it. It makes like your weeks better too, because yes, you can be very fulfilled by work, but that work over time you could get burnout. So it is nice to have like memories and like fun parts of your life that you actually like look forward to.
Yeah, and then why we're saying this too of like having fun in your life is because what guy is going to want to date you when you don't even like your own life?
Yeah, that's the thing I always tell guys. I'm like, have a life that a girl wants to be a part of. If I look at your life, because guys, they'll judge you the same off of that too. They're like, okay, does she have any close friends? Like, does she have a community? Is she close with her family? Like, what's her life like? And they want to see, like, do I want to be a part of that life? So if you're just like, yeah, I don't really like talk to anybody and I stay in every weekend and I just work, it's like
talking about me.
If you're
she just described me to the T.
And if your name is Tara Electra. But that's what I'm saying is like when you're picking a man, wouldn't you be like, okay, so like, what does he do? Does he travel? Does he like have a good friend group? Like what are his friends
anything,
like?
I want to date someone that is more like fun than me now because I've been in such work mode that like I need them to do stuff because then I'm like, it's hard for me. I'm like, can you figure it out?
Can you plan stuff?
Yeah, but that's true. I would look for that because I'm not that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than if I'm that, I would be like, I would just attract more people like that too.
But the one thing I will say is instead of looking for that, you're supposed to become what you're looking for. So if you're like the girl we were talking about. That's what I mean though,
is like the guy that is like that is not going to want to date a girl not like that. So you have to be that, and then that's how you
attract that.
Yeah. Because they're not going to align with it. They're like, you're boring.
Yeah. That was the first thing I did is like I wrote down what I would want in like a partner, and then I was like, okay, now I need to like be that. Like I need to be that person myself. And that was a whole journey. And it's kind of cool. Like you do feel so much more fulfilled by like your own life that it is nice to not put out a lack energy. Like the people I attract, like the guys I attract, the friends I attract are so much like the people I actually would want to talk to than what I was attracting before, coming from like a lack space or like desperate energy or like feeling alone. Like that energy, the people I was attracting, like those were the shitty guys, the guys that were like mean or like the friends that like screwed me over. Like that was
you just made me think of another one. What about like we have some beautiful friends and it just kind of the reason I'm saying this is because it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, because I've seen girls with millions of followers that are still in a place where they're like, every guy that I actually like, that I'm like, oh my God, I want to date him, they don't like me back. And it's like the guys that I'm like, oh, whatever, those are the ones that like me, and then I end up settling. So like, what about a girl, like what is it that is stopping her from dating the people she actually like is like, okay, I want that guy, or I feel like I wouldn't be settling.
I feel like it's also like, that's all comes from knowing your own worth.
Yeah.
Like and I did that by like ingraining my worth in my head every day. Like I even did scripting where I was like, it's a self-love scripting where I bragged about all my great qualities. I was like, what I love about me is this, and I love this about me, and I am so grateful for this. And I would do it every day to the point of where I was like, I was on a high frequency. And then any guy that talked to me, I was like, you are lucky to be talking to me. And I had that energy, and the way that I spoke, the words that I choose when I talk, and the way that I talked about myself and like my life was so much more attractive to people. I've had guys tell me like, you have such an attractive energy. And I was like, and I wasn't getting those compliments before, so I know it works. I was like,
yeah. And for me, what I've been doing a lot recently is I put my hand over my heart and I start saying like, I am the complete package. I am the complete package. And I think about all the areas of my life that are so amazing and remind myself that I am the complete package. Like, I don't have to settle. I can have great things in my life. And so like whatever it is that you feel you need a reminding, or like areas that you don't feel great about, it's like, okay, whether it's love yourself, like sometimes you could just not feel super in love with yourself or your life, or feel like you're picking on certain parts of your body and certain things about you, and it's like then sending that area love and being like, you know what, I love you.
And that's another like downhill spiral that I like really want to talk about. A lot of people, and I've done this too, so I just want to help people that maybe are like, if you're going through this, that feeling of like, oh, when I'm this, if I achieve this career, or if I get this pretty, or if I look like this, then I'll attract the people I want. Yeah. And that was another thing that I was like, it doesn't matter how successful you get. It doesn't matter how pretty you think, like what work you think you need to get done or crazy things. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's all about your energy. Because I can see very average girls with like amazing guys, but it's the energy that they bring to the table and like how they feel truly about themselves. Like you can tell those girls love themselves, and they're like, there's girls that I've seen that have got so much done. They've made themselves so pretty. They have the perfect body, the perfect face, and you could still that they're like still so unhappy because they thought this would make them happy and attract the guys that they actually wanted. And now they're miserable because they're like, it didn't work. Like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do now? And then I see girls that are maybe more average looking, but they are so confident in themselves and who they are, and they authentically speak what they want to say, and you could just tell they're so comfortable with who they are,
which makes them more beautiful.
So beautiful. They become so much hotter. I was like, I did a podcast with a girl recently, and I was just like, you're like so hot because you look so comfortable with yourself. I was like, she got prettier and prettier as it was going on. I was like, I love your face, your skin. All of a sudden she was getting so hot to me. I was like, because you actually love yourself. You could tell.
Yeah, that's so true.
And it's very attractive to people.
Yeah, and like and at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter about any of that stuff. It's about how you show up, how you feel about yourself, and that's how you're really going to attract someone else in your life that loves themselves. And then that's the only way you can have real love, is if two people are coming together that love themselves, and they don't need each other. They choose to be with each other because they come from a place of a whole fulfilling. They're happy with their life. They're happy with themselves. They don't need you. They want you.
They want you. That's
like a healthy relationship.
Partners that you attract. And I could tell too, as I've done personal growth, I've seen how like even just I love like the people I attract. It's almost like a mirror of like me. So I always notice, I'm like, ooh, who am I attracting now? Like, because then I know like what I'm working on is working. Because then I'll like get to know them and pick their brain, and I'm like, this is more of me and what I want, and I can like see it actually working. So it is fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what she's kind of talking about more, is like the more that you show up in your life and improve certain areas of your life and the way that you're feeling about, you know, your body, or loving yourself, or feeling fulfilled with your friendships and the parts of you that you are achieving to be, and you start implementing those areas in your life and working on those parts of yourself. As you go on dates, you're going to start to see that other people you start to date are showing up in that way. And then you'll look back at 1 year in your life and be like, how the hell did I date him? Like, have you ever seen that where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I dated that guy. He's so like old energy that I like not aligned with. And so like
you outgrew.
Yeah, you outgrew. And then you're just like, oh my God, I'm so much like better than that today. You know, I actually do love myself, and I would never like a guy that treated me that way ever again. And so
that's
crazy.
Also knowing your worth. when you know your worth, you are very picky with how people treat you, because like you know your value, so you can like you train people too. Like if someone even tries to treat you wrong, you're like, I'm not like standing for that. And that is just like, then people want to be their best version for you.
Yeah.
You do start seeing a better version of everyone. So it's just like, that's a great energy. And then also for like single girls like going out and they're trying to like be this person now, for me, like a confident, feeling good about yourself, like self-love person, I definitely at first it is a little bit of like a fake it till you make it when you do social situations. Because I remember like I would want to like not fake it till you make it. I guess every time I would always be going to any like social gatherings where I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I get myself centered first and I feel confident in my best self.
I think it is fake it till you make it.
Yeah. But I mean, what I did.
Sometimes I do fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel beautiful right now, but I'm going to make myself feel beautiful.
But that's what I'm saying is like, there was little tricks that I would do before I would go out, whether I'm like listening to music and like dancing and feeling comfortable in my body first. Cause like sometimes you just need to like shake up the energy in your body and like feel like hot in your body. And then sometimes I would even talk about how I want the day to go, like that night or whatever event I'm going to. I would like talk out loud in my bathroom about like how it's going to go and like how everybody's going to be with me and how many friends I'm going to make and how good I'm going to feel and how confident I feel. And I would just like visualize how I wanted it to go. And I would always have way better nights or events, whatever I was going to, when I actually like visualized it ahead of time.
Little tricky girl. All those nights I was going out with you and you're getting so much attention, you had this whole little plan behind everything.
Look at me.
Okay, well, so I think let's go through certain steps that you can do to make yourself feel good being single. And I think really quickly, what are some things that you can do to start to feel whole and complete? Because a reminder, the only way you can attract someone on your level that you feel like is a healthy relationship and actually like allows you to want to be a better you, because if you date the right person, the best parts of you come out. Someone you're proud of being comes out. And so the only way you can really have that love in your life is if you work on becoming a better you and releasing these lackful parts of yourself. So what are some things you can do to start being happy single, setting yourself up so you can find a good relationship in the future, not feeling like you need it right now, but you'll open the space to allow that to come in?
Like the list?
Yeah, like a breakdown to make
it
simple for people.
Me would be first starting with how you raise your vibration every day, like make yourself just mentally happy. So you have to do the things that make you happy, the working out, the eating healthy, the like taking care of yourself, self-love with your body.
Self-love with your body would be like taking the time to do a meditation of like feeling your heart feel love and looking in the mirror and telling your body why you love it, and like saying finding areas that you can feel happy with and being like, you know what, I do love my boobs, or like I do love my, my nose, or just finding little things that you can start to be like feel good about now and starting there. So like doing little things for you is self-love that make you feel beautiful. Like little things like wearing that necklace you love or that new shirt that you love, and like trying to find ways that day you could feel cute and beautiful, and really connecting with your feminine energy as a female if you want to attract, more love in your life.
Taking up a hobby that actually makes you feel very like a self-love hobby. Mine was taking dance classes. I did like sexy girl hip hop dance classes, but it's just all women. And what I loved about it is it made me just feel so confident in my body. And I was like, I felt comfortable in like how I moved and everything like that, which made me feel confident, like the way I spoke and the way I acted, because I was just like, I'm taking on this like hot character every time I like dance. And I just like, it did like, because that's what you're doing, is you're doing an identity shift instead of like, you're telling yourself now the person that you want to be. So if you keep ingraining it every single time with like certain hobbies you take up or interests that you like, that ingrain that belief more and more, you just become that person.
That's so true. I know. So I think a good thing to say to anyone listening is write down certain things that you want to have enter your life, whether that's, you don't feel like sexy or you don't feel beautiful. Like you said, go to dance classes, like do certain things that are going to allow you to feel more beautiful in your own skin and your own body. And like, what are little things that you can do every day, whether that's even getting up in the morning and like dancing, in your bra and underwear and feeling cute, like whatever it is, like do certain things that will introduce yourself feeling good about yourself again, or that's working out, or that's going to get your nails done and feeling beautiful, that you're like, oh, I love my nails, I look pretty, like whatever it is,
whatever
like little things that you can introduce love into your life. And then, like you said, create community.
Community is huge.
Community is number one, of like feeling good about your life and your friends and what you're doing and having fun in your life, so that way your life is enjoyable. And then as you're setting up all these little aspects of your life, you start to be really happy and proud of who you are, what you have, and how you show up. And as you're in that energy, they always say, there's so many people that are like, I did not know I was going to meet that guy tonight, or I was not expecting him to come into my life, and now
I wasn't even looking for it.
Or I wasn't looking. And then that's when they find it, because they're actually finally in a place where they're allowing and they're not needing someone to come into their life. And that's another thing. There's like people that are going on serial dates.
Yeah.
Like serial dating, because they're like, next, how could I find something? And I see that with men too. There's guys that have came to there. I remember there was a guy that came to our house, member, and I'll remind you when I say this, and they were just like, I can never find any good girls in LA, like there's just no good girls out here. And I'm like, I know for a fact that I've seen this guy go on 59 dates just within my immediate circle. I'm like, okay, dude, there's something off with you, not the girls. You need to work on you in order to now find someone. It's like, it's not like next. No one, I can't find anyone. It's like, okay, let's start to like rewind,
take a step back, focus on you a little bit. Get your head right first.
Because
that's what's the best part about being single, is you actually get to be selfish and focus on yourself. So it's like reframing being single is a good thing. It's like time to actually figure out who you are, because if you're always in a codependent relationship, you're always a we, or if you're always dating, like, so it's like that time where you're alone with yourself, you're like, what do I actually want? What do I actually need? How do I be my boyfriend? Like, that's what I did. I was like, I'm gold, and I'm going to treat myself exactly how I would want a man to treat me. Because if that's how I am like showing up, that's the energy I'm going to get back. I was like, how do I want to treat me? Like, I treat myself like the boyfriend I would want.
Yeah, that's so true.
And also things to avoid when you're being single, just a like tip that I just thought of. If you're feeling like a lack energy of feeling like you like really need someone, definitely don't go in the dating app like downfall, where like you just like keep on getting validation or like talking to a bunch of strangers on dating apps, and like, because sometimes it's it can make you feel a little bit worse, because you're just like, oh, that guy's not really replying to me, and you're like getting rejected virtually through like a bunch of random strangers that don't even know you. It's like, or like you'll go on dates with complete strangers, and it's like there's so much pressure of like, you guys have to try to figure out right then if you like each other or not. Otherwise, like, why would you hang out again? And it's like, just maybe don't go down the dating app like spiral. Like, yes, you can like check it every once in a while, but there are times where I see girls take on a masculine energy where they're just looking and looking and looking, instead of like in your feminine energy is receiving. So like owning that power. And that's what I loved about Danny Morell told me that. And he was just like, you need to get more in your feminine, because feminine, everything comes to you. You don't need to like look for it. That's a masculine energy. And then you'll get a feminine man. You don't want that. So just be in your feminine, let it come to you.
That's a whole nother episode. When depending on the energy you're in is the person you will attract. So if you're in your masculine, you're probably going to attract a feminine male, and vice versa if you're in the opposite. So it is wild. And as a female, you want to attract a masculine energy because you want to be in your feminine. That's like a healthy
our natural
dynamic. So first and foremost, if you want to be happy single, you need to be happy and fulfilled with your life the way it is now. So the list Natasha just broke down on different ways to be happy with your life is the first step. And then once you're enjoying your life, don't put a time limit on how long that needs to be. Like, stop looking at different scenarios in your life, whether that's your age or certain things, or judging yourself because other people are in a relationship. Just start to first be like, why can I be happy for my life now? Why am I fulfilled? Why is it actually kind of fun to be single? And once you're in that energy is when you truly will align line and someone will surprise you and enter your life.
100%.
So I love when you come on my episodes. I think it's going to be something we're going to introduce more, where we sisters talk. And these are the conversations me and her have all the time on the couch with no makeup on, eating a bag of chips. No,
She's just using me because I'm in the next room over. I was like, so rude. Convenient.
And so I'm going to start doing more of these where we
Yeah.
can just kind of talk about things we really talk about every single day. And I think that's another thing. Find someone in your life that you can talk with that is aligned with where you want to be. Are they thinking? Are they trying to expand their mind? Are they trying to grow? Find someone in your life that you can have those kind of conversations with, even if it's with us. And
Yeah.
so
and someone who is honest with you, that will tell you the real things you need to hear. Because a lot of people, they want people that are always just like, they're like good friends or whatever, like they're like just nice. It's like, no, you want someone that's going to tell you when you're like, you're going off, like someone that centers you back. And like, that's what I feel like I have with you, is like, you'll just give it to me straight, and I would never be like, it's like, I know you're doing it because you love me. So
we do get a little annoyed at sometimes, but overall,
she knows me so well.
Overall, we know it's the right thing. Okay, so tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at Tash 9 p.m. And yeah, I have a lot of dating advice on there as well.
So she teaches so many men how to find, different females, how to talk to girls. Obviously, we're in this world of like so many men behind the screen and girls behind the screen. And so creating ways where you can actually meet people in real life is huge. And if you really want to understand what men are going through and how men actually have a hard time in this world too, as a female, you should go listen to her. And then if you're a guy, definitely go listen to her so you can start to understand how to talk to more girls in your life. I think this is going to be so fun. We want to have more episodes like this. Just within me talking to you, I'm like, there's a million other episodes we can have from what we talked about today. But I would first love everyone that's listening to please go into the comments and tell us different parts that you liked, because we're going to be reading it and we can come back with new episodes. Thank you so much, my $1 billion baby, for listening to today's episode. As you know, I read all your comments and I'll be releasing new episodes every Tuesday. Tell me what parts of this episode resonated with you the most, and I'll see you next week.